Hello everyone, this is Virtualwiz from Wiz Tech. Welcome to this Flutter development course for beginners. In this video, we are going to learn about Flutter Stateless and Stateful Widgets. Let's get started. Let's first look at what a stateless widget is in Flutter. A stateless widget in Flutter is a static component of the user interface that does not change over time and does not have mutable state. To put it simply, a stateless widget is like a snapshot of the user interface. It represents a part of your app's screen that doesn't change or react to users' interaction. It is static in nature, like a picture or a postcard. Once you create a stateless widget, it remains the same until you explicitly change it. So, what can we do with a stateless widget? Stateless widgets are perfect for displaying information or elements that don't need to change over time. Think of a label or a simple button that always looks the same and doesn't do anything special when pressed. You can also use stateless widgets to build layouts like arranging multiple widgets in a particular order. So how do we create a stateless widget? To create a stateless widget, you will extend the Stateless Widget class provided by Flutter. This class has a special method called build that you need to override. Inside the build method, you define the structure of the content of your widget using other widgets provided by Flutter. Once you have built your widget, you can reuse it anywhere in your app. Let's look at an example. In our previous video, we created a simple app that has a container that says Hello World. This is an example of a stateless widget. We created a myWidget class that extends Stateless Widget. Inside the Stateless Widget, we have returned a container that has a background of amber and a simple text Hello World. So, no matter how many times we restart the app or do anything inside the app, the Hello World text never changes. This is a static content, and this is a prime example of using a stateless widget. To use a stateless widget, we create a class with a name of the class. So let's name it myWidget and extend it with stateless widget. And inside there, we will have a build parameter that we talked about. So override widget build that has build context named context, and inside the build method we return our text or whatever we have to display on the screen. So let's say for now a text named Hello World. So we have an error because we didn't delete this parenthesis. So we start the app and we see a Hello World. This is a static text Hello World. You can also create stateless widget by simply typing STL inside the IDE, and it will simply recognize it as a stateless widget shortcut. So press enter and it builds a format for a stateless widget, and we simply have to rename the name of the stateless widget. So for now it's myWidget, or you can name it anything. So what is a stateful widget? A stateful widget in Flutter is a dynamic component that can change its internal state and is used to build interactive components that respond to user actions and other events. To put it simply, a stateful widget is like a smart component that can change and adapt over time. It reacts to users' interactions, data changes, and other events. While a stateless widget represents a static part of your user interface, a stateful widget represents the dynamic part of the user interface. So what can we do with a stateful widget? Stateful widgets are perfect when you want your app's user interface to update and respond to things like button presses, form inputs, or changing data. For example, imagine a counter app where the number of the screen increases each time you tap a button. To accomplish this dynamic behavior, we would use a stateful widget. So how do we create a stateful widget? To create a stateful widget, we extend the Stateful Widget class provided by Flutter. The Stateful Widget class consists of two classes within it, the Stateful Widget class itself and the corresponding state class. The state class is responsible for managing and updating the widget's mutable state. Let's look at an example. To create a stateful widget, we simply type the shortcut STF that recognizes as a stateful widget, click enter and give it a name that we desire. So for now, let's name it counter widget, and that's it. So inside the return method, we place the code that we want to show on the screen. So this counter widget class extends a stateful widget provider that is provided by the Flutter framework, and inside there we have a state, counter widget state, which creates a state with a private counter widget state, and this is the class counter widget state that extends state of counter widget, this one. So let's run this counter widget from our my app. So counter widget and restart our app, and it shows nothing because right now we are only returning a placeholder. So let's change this placeholder to return a column which take children's. So the first child will be a constant text that says counter, and below the text we will have an elevated button whose onPressed function for now is null because we haven't defined any function right now, and the child will be a text with value increment. So let's define a function that increases the value on pressed. So first let's declare a integer named counter whose initial value will be 0, and let's declare a function void increase count. Inside it will return a set state parameter. A set state is responsible for dynamically changing the values on the screen. So here inside here we will type counter plus plus. So this will increase the value of counter whose initial value is 0 right now from 0 to 1 and 2 and 3 and so on. It will add a value of 1 each time we place the function increase count. So let's copy this increase count from here and paste it here. Increase count invalid constant value because it is now dynamic because the value changes every time we press the function. So we have to remove constant keyword from here, and everything looks fine. So let's run the app. So counter increment, there's nothing because we are not showing the value of counter on the screen. So inside this text, let's add the variable counter and rerun the app, and here you go, counter initial value 0, and when we press the increment it dynamically changes the value of 0 to 1 and 2 and 3 and so on. So this is an example of a stateful widget. Let's look at how this stateful widget works. So in this example we created a stateful widget called counter widget. It extends the stateful widget class and overrides the create state right here method to create an instance of corresponding state class counter widget state. Inside this state class right here we have a counter widget state, and we have a counter variable that keeps track of the current count. So the first count is 0 and so on. When the button is pressed in the increase count right here, the function is called which updates the counter variable using the setState method. This setState method triggers a rebuild of the widget, updating the UI with the new count. The setState method is essential for updating the state and triggering the widget to rebuild. When you call the setState method and update the state variables within it, Flutter knows that something has changed. It then rebuilds the widget, reflecting the updated state in the user interface. So if you didn't understand how we create a function increase count, feel free to check out my video on Dart functions. The link is in the description, where we learn how a function works, what is a function, etc. This sums up the brief introduction to stateless and stateful widgets in Flutter. To better our understanding of stateless and stateful widgets, we will encounter them throughout the app building process in Flutter. In our next video, we'll learn more about layout widgets that we briefly looked at in the Flutter widgets video and today when using the column. Till then, stay tuned and don't forget to like, share and subscribe Wiz Tech.